South Africa, a nation of swipers. We
Okay.
love
Susie P, can you mute yourself?
Your swipe. I don't have money. See your swipe. But what if you could make every swipe count? Yeah. With social rewards, every time you swipe, you an instant point. Stop swiping for Mahala. Join the.
There we go.
Right, thank you. I mean, it was very interesting listening to the KFC ad. So what I saw a lot last year were results, media results. So click-throughs, so many people saw the ad. And remember, this is about the brand and the business results. Unless media objectives were specifically what you set out to achieve, but that's not a very compelling case. So argue here how the brand's marketing led to the results achieved, and provide brand data, industry benchmarks, and competitors. So what's the benchmark? So how much better did you do than the benchmark? How much better did you do than your competitors? And address other contributing factors, whether positive or negative. So, you know, in the Apex days, we always had to have those isolating factors. Here, we can actually talk about the contributing factors, positive and negative, but and it's important to acknowledge those, because it makes the judges understand that you've really considered, oh, there might have been this other thing that influenced what we did, and it just shows that there's lots of consideration for how you've put your case study together. And then when key metrics are withheld without explanation, judges do assume it's because the results were weak. So don't just ignore something. Don't ignore the elephant in the room. Like, address it head on. Have a reason why, you know, why something was not a contributing factor. So the advice from the judges here is consistency in the information and the story is essential. Changing info reduces the confidence in the case. Charts and graphs, I want to talk about that a little bit. Of course, it's so important to use those to showcase any sort of lifts, any sort of improvements and your results. The advice that I would give to the crowd on this call is that this is an opportunity for you to design something really good, because you can insert it into the platform. I found that the graphs that were just pulled directly from Excel are incredibly hard to read, because you can't really, you can't zoom in on it. So if there's lots of stats in the graph and lots of different bar graphs and lines, etc., it's really, really difficult to see. All you can see is just things going up or things going down. So here I would encourage you to get something designed, and there are such fantastic data visualization designs these days. You know, we all know the apple round thing that kind of shows completion, or, you know, all those things that can really actually demonstrate your winning results much more efficiently. So I would encourage you to look at how you can do that creatively and simply, because that can ultimately pull your case through very successfully. And demonstrate why the results are meaningful for long-term brand impact. Tie the story together of why the work drove the results. The best case studies do this seamlessly, and the worst ones throw out the results as evident proof that it worked without explaining why or how. It's not just about listing the results, but explaining how and why. So those were the 4 sections. I'm now going to summarize with the top entry tips, and then I'm going to go into the winning case study and demonstrate how they tackled each of these four sections. So I would encourage you firstly to start with the executive summary before you try to write the individual sections. And I've just posed the invitation that maybe the team writes it together, or you decide what the construct of the executive summary is going to be together. Get your overall story really strong, crisp, clear, and inspiring. And once you've written the whole thing, I would almost encourage you to go back again and just craft that summary again, because now you've told them what you're going to tell them with your executive summary, and then you write your case study. So you're telling them the case, and then you get to the end with a conclusion where you're telling them what you told them. So go back and just make sure that you've got that line going from your executive summary right through to your conclusion, and it's all telling the same story. Be sure to provide context. We've said this, most judges don't know your category. Then thirdly, while all of the information is important, remember that this is read as one of the many entries by judges. So go back and ensure that you're using the most impactful, focused information to help them to make a decision. Fourth, the entrants who build their cases from a place of honesty, authenticity, and simplicity versus marketing jargon were really the strongest. And I can honestly say that about the winning case study. It's just, it's just the brand speaking in its voice, just saying quite truth to power, what it did to achieve these results. Ensure that the insights somehow tied to a human behavior. A data point is not an insight, and we spoke quite a bit about insights and how we articulate those. Create a strong tie between the execution and the results. Make sure your creative reel doesn't just reiterate what you said in your entry. Use it to complement that information. Connect the results to the objectives very clearly. Don't try to fake it and write objectives to meet the existing results. We can tell, and it will have an impact. Advertising principles should apply to case studies too. Write them in a way that engages judges. Focus on your campaign, how your campaign helped achieve your brand's success. And then, of course, the no-brainers, check for grammar, typos, math, and inconsistencies. It sounds dull and boring, but it really is a reality that the best case studies are the ones that are just flawless in the writing. Okay, so those are your top entry tips, the kind of 10 things to remember. I'm going to take a deep breath before we go on and just find out if everyone's still okay. Can I just get a thumbs up? Is everyone still here? Keen to go? Thank you, Kerry Lee. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to go into our case study. I'm just going to take a sip of coffee and water. And as many of you will know, our winning case study for last year, the Grand Prix was for Checkers. It was the launch of the Extra Savings card with a campaign called No Smoke and Mirrors. I have to just say that unfortunately, this case study will not be shared in the presentations after. But if you are subscribed to the Effie's platform, you do, as far as I understand, have access to these case studies to go and look at it. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this now as a judge would see it, right? Okay, so looking at the executive summary and how simply it was articulated is firstly, the challenge. Successfully launch and distinctly position a supermarket rewards program against well-established and highly recognizable competitor loyalty programs. Very simple, very straightforward, saying it as it is. The insight, most existing programs were seen as complicated and confusing, especially when tracking member status and benefits. The idea, here's a program that cuts through the smoke and mirrors. It's simple, no points, levels, or fuss, whilst providing real savings. Bringing this idea to life, we used the world famous master magician Dynamo to show there's no tricks, mystery, or complexity, just extra instant cash savings. The results, over 1 million signups in 1 week or in week one, and over 3.3 million signups by the end of December 2019. I mean, that's just astounding. So going into each of the sections now, so that was how they articulated the executive summary, and then going into each of the sections, starting with section 1. I'm just going to talk you through quickly what their context was. So in 2001, Checkers split from the ShopRite group and decided to then go after a middle to high end consumer. And of course, they then had a new set of competitors that they had to differentiate themselves from. And it really was a stiff challenge because Pick n Pay had about 1,000 outlets, Woolworths had about 400, and Checkers only had about 220 stores at that stage. So for many years, they introduced products and services to improve the Checkers experience. And I think most of us have seen just the huge success of that and have changed our shopping to include Checkers in our repertoire. But they then realized in about 2017, 2018, that it was essential for them to include a rewards program. And at that stage, you must know that, of course, there were already such well-established rewards programs, again, for within the consumer set, the competitor set. So Woolworths had their card, Pick n Pay had the Smart Shopper card, and there were obviously various other ones. So it really was quite a bold challenge to take on to launch a new card, but they realized that whilst 75% of their consumer, the Checkers consumer, wanted a rewards card, everyone was very negative about rewards cards because they're just complex and you don't understand how the points relate to the monetary value and what you can reimburse it for, etc. It was just on social media and consumer feedback was just that people hated it, even though they wanted it. So the opportunity, again, within all of those limitations, was to set themselves apart and launch something that would break through all that complexity and aggravation. So they wanted to do 4 things. The challenge was actually that they were the last supermarket loyalty program to target that market, the LSM 7 to 10s. And they needed to take on well-entrenched programs from bigger competitor, which was a very bold goal, providing a compelling enough reason for shoppers to sign up. So why would I want another loyalty card? And then again, they wanted to launch this at the end of 2019 at the start of the festive season in a very tough financial climate. We know now, in hindsight, that it was the perfect time to launch it because when we went into 2020, people started really looking for savings. So these were the 4 real key things for them to address. They then, in this section, go into why this case is worthy of an effectiveness award. And again, it's just so confidently articulated here. The Extra Savings launch campaign greatly exceeded expectations, achieving 3.3 million signups by end December 2020, comfortably exceeding its target of 1.5 million signups by the end of January 2020. This was enhanced by the achievement of 65% sales coverage through the swiping of Extra Savings cards at the tills by members, along with the launch enabling measured customer brand satisfaction for the overall Checkers brand to reach 80%, comfortably beating the launch campaign brand satisfaction target of 70%. Okay, so there it is, all 3 sentences on a page. Their objectives and how it was articulated. So firstly, from an awareness point of view, it would need to be immediately converted into action. So they didn't want some long duration for people to take ages to kind of accumulate points. Like from day one, you need to be able to count on those rewards, whereby prospects would be sufficiently enticed to sign up online, via mobile or in-store. Consideration, drive signups to achieve 1.5 million signups by the end of January 2020. Loyalty, ensure that members swipe their card every time they shop to achieve 65% sales coverage. And then advocacy, drive satisfaction above 70% for the overall Checkers brand. Okay. They then had a section just on the audience in that front, in section 1. Saying that the success of the Extra Savings program will be its simplicity. So this was a quote from their strategy and innovation chief, saying that they realized that simplicity was the most important aspect for this card, and that loyalty cards with slow earning points are everywhere. Consumers know the game, they want transparent incentives, they want meaningful gratification, and that's what we're giving them. So I suppose the solution from the onset was just really smart. We then go into section 2. Okay, so this is where they articulated their insight. And first, they give us that description from research, from their conversations that really make us understand the headspace of this consumer. South African consumers are seeking out convenience. By being last to market, Checkers was able to analyze and critique all of the existing competitor loyalty programs, from their program mechanics to their benefits, claims, and communication. A common thread was that they had all some level of complexity and ambiguity, whether tracking your balance status, redeeming rewards, or understanding complex terms and conditions, which made it difficult to calculate the rand value rewarded or compare savings earned per program. The negative sentiment was being verbalized over traditional and social media. So, highlighted, the insight was simple. South Africans don't want smoke and mirrors when it comes to loyalty programs. They deserve a simple and convenient supermarket loyalty program that does what it says. Very simply defined. And you immediately, you get what they were trying to do. The strategic idea with this program, there's no smoke and mirrors, just honest, transparent, instant extra savings every time you swipe. I also do detect here the no nonsense Checkers brand tone in how this is written, even though it's not distinctly a Nando's or a KFC or a Chicken Licken tone of voice, but it just feels like this is written from the brand's perspective, which I thought was very, very effective. Bringing the strategy and idea to life. Okay, so now here you're going to see it like the judges see it, with the write-ups and no videos first. So the extra savings proposition was to do away with confusion and smoke and mirrors. And to best address this consumer insight and challenge, we needed someone schooled in the sleight of hand and master of many card tricks, a global master magician. So now they're having to describe this person, right? This person was Stephen Frayne, better known as Dynamo, an English magician famous for his precision card handling and dazzling card tricks. Dynamo has performed across the world to over 750,000 people from South Africa, the USA to New Zealand, and appeared in his own award-winning docuseries, Magician Impossible, including 1.8 viewers on South Africa's DSTV, to become the most watched show on Discovery Channel in 2012, making him the most famous magicians of our time. So he was a well-known influencer, and they quite open about the fact why he was chosen. He would communicate that the Checkers extra saving card is unlike others. So 3 things: without points or levels, no long T's and C's, no tricks, no sleight of the hand, and it delivers the most important and clear customer reward of all: extra cash savings instantly. So again, 1, 2, 3, these are the things that they're wanting to achieve. There are 6 ways to sign up. And success hinged on reaching as many people in as short a period as possible to achieve 2 objectives: maximum awareness across the wide audience and rapidly driving card signups in the run-up to Black Friday, just before the festive season. So those were the 2 big goals. A key arena for engagement would be Checkers' own supermarkets and hypers, where Checkers could control and leverage in-store messaging at the entrance. So acknowledging that this is their own real estate that they could use. And we've all seen it when you walk into this store, when you're at the till, lots of point of sale throughout the stores. You'll see it in the videos as well. And to promote the program's benefits and highlight the hundreds of instant savings throughout the store, Checkers decided to own a unique and distinctive corporate identity and color scheme of luminous orange and teal to break through the busy store environment and stand out in the digital, online, and above the line media environment. So they're saying that they used a specific identity to set them apart. And that CI was implemented across all elements, creating a uniform and a distinctive corporate signature. And I mean, that orange is just so striking. You can see it from everywhere, and it's very recognizable. It really builds that memory structure in your brain. And it became synonymous with extra savings. So another key element was the training, motivation, and onboarding of frontline store staff on how the program worked. So the huge internal campaign here, how they trained their staff and got their staff excited about it. And this was achieved via impactful and entertaining road shows and store launch events, educational AVs, staff program registration and training. So lots of onboarding for staff because we know that they are our best ambassadors. Then we will see the key visual. So this is the key visual as you would see it, and then go into just a little bit more of an explanation of you know, how everything was implemented. But that essentially is how that section was set out. And then we go into the results. So again, very succinctly set out, the program achieved 1 million signups in week 1. And by the end of the year, it had 3.3 million signups, making it the fastest growing program of its kind in South Africa. And here are some anecdotal quotes from customers, and that's also a very strong way to show your results, not just with data, but actually giving some quotes from customers and feedback. It's the best ever, and I love the double deals. Thank you. I've enjoyed being able to take advantage of savings on products that qualified and offer discounts based on what I buy, not based on what you want me to buy in order to be able to save. So showing that efficiency and effectiveness there. And then here they go into other societal and economic factors that could have contributed. So by Q4 of 2019, South African households were under severe financial strain due to rocketing fuel and electricity prices and higher taxes. And results released by Nielsen showed South Africa shoppers are obsessed with discounts. Almost a third of consumers now search for promotions, and 16% went so far as changing stores for a brand they prefer based on the best promotions on offer. Some 22% shoppers stated that they changed stores based on the best discounts on offer, and extra savings was just what these shoppers wanted and needed. So just perfect timing for Checkers. And then when they went into the actual budget allocation, it was just so simply explained in that 10% was spent on earned, 20% on shared, and 70% on paid media. And there were two streams of how they focused their budget: awareness and signups, and then users who were signed up then were moved up to a different audience bucket. So just setting it apart quite simply and effectively, and not too much dilly-dallying around this. Okay, now I'm going to play you the videos. I hope that it doesn't lag too much on your side.
Checkers is one of 4 major South African supermarkets, and also the only one that didn't have a loyalty program. But instead of offering shoppers complicated tiers and point systems, Checkers developed a loyalty program that rewards shoppers with what they want most: instant extra savings, which is what they called it. But how did they get record signups? By launching their new card as a no smoke and mirrors instant cash savings tool. They got someone who knows a thing or two about cards.
Hey guys, do you have any supermarket loyalty cards in your wallet?
Yeah.
Just take them out for me. You got quite a few.
Yeah, I do.
Don't need all these cards.
Wow.
If magic teaches you something, it's that you shouldn't believe everything you see. Checkers says their new card cuts through the smoke and mirrors. It's not a complicated loyalty card. It's a rewards card that gives you money back instantly.
Wait, what happened to my other cards?
What other cards?
Then they painted the stores orange. Simplified the sign-up process. And let the extra deals speak for themselves. Open rates soared. The internet turned orange. No wonder Checkers Extra Savings became the fastest growing loyalty rewards program in South Africa.
Okay, so that's the actual case study. And then I'm going to go just onto the training video.
Checkers SA developed a groundbreaking loyalty program that rewards shoppers with instant extra savings. With the card master behind the launch, they painted the stores orange, simplified the sign-up process, and let the
sorry, let me just play that again.
Checkers SA developed a groundbreaking loyalty program that rewards shoppers with instant extra savings. With the card master behind the launch, they painted the stores orange, simplified the sign-up process, and let the extra deals speak for themselves. Email open rates soared, and the internet turned orange. No wonder Checkers Extra Savings became the fastest growing loyalty rewards program in South Africa.
Okay, so those were the videos. I'm now just going to recap on the final tips again, and then we're going to run into final logistics. So again, number one, start with the executive summary, then write the rest of the sections, then go back to executive summary. Secondly, provide context so that everyone understands the category that you're operating within. Information is important, but make sure that you convey the right information and not all the information. Honesty, authenticity, and simplicity, really, really very important in your tonality. Insights, not data points. Strong ties between execution and results. Creative really doesn't just reiterate what you said in your entry, make it complement it. Connect results to objectives, don't make sure that they match up. Engage the judges, make it interesting to read, tell a story, and then check for grammar and information. Okay, so that then summarizes everything from a strategy point of view. Just a couple of logistics since we had the launch a couple of days ago. A reminder that there are two categories. There's industry and specialty that you can enter within. You can go and see those details on the website, but efforts can be entered into one industry category or up to 2 in shopper and commerce, or 4 in the specialty categories. So also more details on the site, or otherwise you can email to get more information. The eligibility dates for sustained is from February 2019 to January 2022. So that's a 3-year period. And for all other categories, it's a 1-year period from the 1st of February. The deadlines again. So here, I just want to say that we did listen and we have taken on board the concerns around timings. So the early bird deadline has been extended until the 18th of May. And here with the pricing again, it does give you a little bit more time, because we know that this time is so important to put all your information together and do all the digging and do your interviews, etc. So these are the new deadlines that have been agreed by the Effie's Secretariat. And then just the process again, the application for judges, it did open just before Easter. The judges induction will be on the 14th of June. Round 1 judging will be in August. Round 2 later in August. The finalist parties on the 15th of September, the grand Effie judging at the end of September, and the gala dinner at the end of October. And I want to just say that it's been lovely to spend this time with you guys. I hope that this was helpful, and I want to leave you with this thought that I think if we want to embrace this constraint, we need to be very deliberate in how we articulate our case studies and what we want to say about our brands, and to choose our cases carefully, to consider the categories that we enter into carefully, and to see how we can say things short, sharply, and distinctly. Let every word mean something. If you can say something in 5 words and you're currently saying it in 10 words, see how can you reduce, but how can you tell that beautiful story? And enter, guys. This is a huge opportunity to show the labor of your work and the fruit of your labor, and really celebrate with your clients and the rest of your teams how successful you've been. And I hope that you're able to leave a little bit of the worry behind and enter with confident case studies, embrace the constraint. The highest energy wins, and I wish you lots of success. These are the email addresses if you need to contact the Effies for more information around the actual awards process. Then you can do so. And we will now go into some questions and feedback. Okay, so I'm going to unshare. Now, I think we have lost, I think we've lost some of the comments from the first session. I'm afraid. I don't know if there's any way that we can pull those up, because I did see that there were a couple of questions in the first session. Okay, so I see here, Lee, that you said that about 10 minutes ago. I don't think the slides are changing.
Oh no, sorry. They were changing. I was having a moment on my side.
Okay, no worries. No worries. Hi, Lee. It's good to see you.
Hi, Katinka. I did ask a question a bit earlier though. Yeah, about the results, because my understanding is that you're not supposed to put results in the case study.
Yes, yes.
When I saw Checkers, they actually did it really smartly, because they didn't put results, but they did talk about their success. But I saw when you said earlier that sometimes the results that were in the case study didn't match what was in the written case. So yes, some people put results in.
Some people did put results in, but you are right. And maybe someone from Effie can just verify this. You're not meant to put results in. So I think maybe I articulated that incorrectly. But even in objectives, oh, great. Thank you for these, for the chat that's come through. A lot of people, even in information that they shared around objectives or context or, current situation, that information did not match up between the video and the actual written case study. There was some discrepancies there. So it wasn't particular to results. It was more just about the context of the brand. But if someone from Effie can just verify that, please.
Hi. Yes, it is correct that no results should be shown in the creative.
Great.
Cool, thanks.
Great. Okay, thank you here, Kerry Lee, who said yay to anti-anxiety vibes. And hello, Eileen, it's good to see you as well. Thank you for your comment. Candice, if judges are not experts in your category, how do you know how much detail you need to include to explain specifically the technical solution? I think where something is very technical, where you need to really understand technical information, I think it's important to explain it, but as simply as you possibly can, because again, judges do get quite a few case studies and the time is limited to review that. So where you have a category that is quite specific in its technical, the technical information and its technicalities. It is important to explain it. Just try not to take a long route to get there. I don't know if that helps. From Fifi, there is someone trying to join the session. Oh, thank you. I hope that person got in.
They do.
Okay. Did Katinka freeze? I did. I'm sorry about that. I actually specifically came to the office with the hope that I would not be influenced by load shedding, but hopefully that just gave you guys a quick body break. And then Joanna is asking, may have missed this. Is it possible to send the deck to the workshop participant for reference? And Joanna, it's a very good question. We will be sending you this deck. It will be without the case study, but you will receive the deck. And then you can also go and view the recording on the Effie's YouTube channel. And those are all the questions that I have on here, but that it can't be all. Is there anything that anyone wants to ask on microphone?
Hi, Katinka, it's Chad here. I did put a
Hey.
question in the chat.
If you don't mind, Chad, here it is. Isolating variables or factors were a large part of the Apex entries, and there's very little room for this in an Effie entry. It's impossible to cover all eventualities. What do judges look for in particular here? It's a very good question, and I think a lot of people have asked this. My understanding is, and I don't know if anyone from Effie wants to verify this, is that isolating variables were much more important for Apex than they are for Effies. So it's not as important as it was for Apex, is my understanding. I don't know if anyone from Effie want to verify that.
Yes, hi everybody. Yes, Katinka is quite right in saying that, and I think where we are stuck as the South African market, we want to do the comparison all the time, Apex versus Effie. Effie is a total different kettle of fish. So I think we need to kind of shift our thinking completely away from what Apex used to do versus what Effie is doing. Effie is a different competition on its own. So I think if we all just have a gear shift and kind of start thinking, I'm entering a different competition. This is not Apex. So I think we'll survive better when we do that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think what we had to get used to was briefly listing some of the variables and then not going into major depth to prove them each from every angle. So it was kind of more of a list and then having to let go of all the verbose explanations around each. So, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Angus from Dark Matter.
Can I ask a quick question, Katinka?
Thanks, Kerry. Sorry, let's just quickly, Angus is asking a question. Let's just quickly give him a chance, then we'll come back to you, Kerry.
Thanks, Katinka. So regarding video-based case studies, what is the likelihood of success if you were to submit a video case study alongside everything else? Because in the past, we've done static case studies like presentation decks. Do you think there's a higher likelihood of if you create a video case study, you're more likely to win?
Are you saying a video case study to replace the written case study, or are you saying
In tandem with each other? Yeah.
Oh, and are you asking if judges will be more likely to score you higher for a video case study rather than just having the static images?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. I don't think that essentially it will influence the judging at all. You don't have to do a video. I think, you know, having images from your campaign, a lot of brands do that, and I don't think that the judges are prejudiced at all. I do think it's just much easier to tell your story through a video because people just consume it much easier. But I don't think that there's any sort of prejudice within the judging community. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that does, definitely.
Kerry Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Katinka. I also just want to make sure I understand. Earlier on, you said each of the sections are judged independently of each other. Is that correct? So they don't read the whole case study at once?
You do read it at once.
Okay.
What happens is that you will go into the case study, you will read the executive summary, and then you will go into section 1. At the end of section 1, you will score section 1 and comment on section 1 before you can go on to section 2. You can't go on to section 2 until you've scored and commented on section 1. So and then you will go right through until the end when you get to your results, and then you will watch the videos. So you will watch it all in one going. What I was just saying is that it's unlikely to happen that a judge will go, I'm not going to read the context, I'm not going to read the insights, I'm going to go straight into the executions. You can't skip those stages. You have to read it from beginning to end, which obviously is quite beneficial.
And then, so then you can't do things like refer to section 3, for example. Like, you know, you want to try and write it as its own entity. Oh, you can.
No,
you can. Okay.
No, absolutely, you can. So if you're in section 1 and you want to refer to section 3, do that, and judges will go back and so if they're in section 1, they will obviously look out for that comment when they get to section 3, and then they can go back again to section 1 to go and see where you made the referral. I must say that judges take a lot of time and spend, you know, they realize how much time you guys have put into it. So they will go forwards and backwards to make sure that they pay attention to all your references.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else wanted to raise their hands? No one. Was it all super clear?
It was.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee. It was wonderful to spend today with you guys. I always feel my IQ level increases a little bit when I spend time with strategists, and it was I hope that you found it beneficial and practical, and that again you can leave some of the worry behind and just really enter and enjoy this process, guys. And very high success to you all, and I will see you in a few months.
I'd just like to say one last thing. Thank you to Katinka for actually doing this for us as a 2021 judge, and I hope you guys have gotten more insight in terms of what the judges are looking for. Thank you, Katinka.
Yeah, thanks, Matt and team for inviting me. It was great to be part of the process.
And thank you to everybody for attending and caring so much about Effie's. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, man.
Have a lovely, enjoy writing your cases. Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.